Guys, welcome to the show. The other day I did a video talking about the maybe 5 different things you should do to become sovereign. And today we're going to be talking about from survival mode to financial sovereignty. I know a lot of people started hitting me up in the comments and emails wanting to get more information. Now, we talk a lot about resiliency, and financial freedom is one of those foundations. A lot of people, there's gurus online that try to sell you things like investing and real estate and all this other stuff. But what if you're in the trenches? You can barely afford your car payment. You can barely afford groceries. I'm going to give you the protocol and the blueprint. And it's exactly what I utilize because for years I read books, hours every day, man. I would read these various financial books. I went to college, got a degree in business, and I took bits and pieces from all these experiences and developed a protocol. And if I had to start over, it's what I would do again starting tomorrow if I had to start all over again. Unfortunately, American has made people soft. 99% of people won't do it. They'll just complain. They'll wait for Donald Trump to give a rebate check, or they'll buy lottery tickets wishing that they're going to get rich somehow. And instead of digging their way out. Complaining will not get you ahead. This is a 5-step protocol. And if you follow it, I promise you're going to escape the matrix. Phase 1 is what we call ground zero. This is war zone discipline. This is the nobody is coming to save you phase. You're not broke. You're at freaking war. So we're going to discuss the various different things you need to do to get out of this phase. A lot of Americans I found myself in this place. Okay. Number 1, the first thing you have to do is cut all fat. I mean, eliminate all non-essential bills, streaming subscriptions, apps, anything you're doing. Cut eating out, cut drinking, smoking, any vices, all of it. Your phone plan, switch to the cheapest carrier. Gym, train outside or at your home. Invest in some bands and get it done at home. Use free resources for budgeting. We're talking Mint, YNAB, or even paper and pen if you got to. Go monk mode, number 2. No distractions, no dating, no dopamine hits. Your only focus now is on currency. Okay, that's all you need to worry about. Number 3, and you're not going to like to hear this, is to get 2 jobs at a minimum. At a minimum. People are like, oh, I don't want to work. I won't pay taxes. Unfortunately, you're already under that umbrella, so you got to. Having 1 job is survival, unless you're a doctor, lawyer, and even some of those guys are still in survival mode because of their freaking their college tuition they're paying for the rest of their life. Okay, job 1 pays for rent, food, gas. Okay, hopefully you got some kind of 401k, some kind of medical with that job, right? Job 2 is your financial warfare fund. Okay. Maybe you do Uber, Instacart, night shift, delivery, security, warehouses, etc. And then optional job 3, that's a weekend grind. Maybe you go do day labor on the weekends. So 2 to 3 jobs minimum. People are like, no, can't get cuts in my Netflix. Do you want to get out of the trenches? Okay. Number 4 in this phase is to track every dollar. Use a physical notebook, an app. You look at income, expenses, debt, and savings. Now your burn rate is down to the penny, so you know where every dime is going. So that is, I'm in the trench. Life sucks. I've got to make it out. Phase 2. This is what we call the debt purge and credit rebuild. Okay. Because unfortunately, you're going to need good credit, because the thing is, unless you have a few $100,000 sitting around, you're not going to be able to buy a home, or 30, 40,000, 50, 80,000 dollars to buy a truck, cash, which is a depreciating asset anyway. You're going to get higher interest rates, which is a vacuum for your money. And you can't build freedom while being chained to past decisions. Okay. Number one. So you're in the warfare zone. The first thing you do is stack $1,000 emergency buffer. I'm talking people that only have $1,000. $1,000 before paying any debt. You set aside $1,000, and this is coming from job 2, job 3. This $1,000 is for emergencies. It prevents getting sucked back into debt when life punches you. Okay. Now you can do this in 2 different methods. You can to pay down debt. Okay, so we're going to move into paying down debt. You can use an avalanche or a snowball method. Avalanche is pay high interest rate debt first. So the debt that you have that's eating up most of your money because it has a high interest rate. Maybe you got a 14% interest rate vehicle. Get out of that thing. Or you can do what's called a snowball, where you pay off smallest debts first for the momentum. Okay. Either works. Pick one and execute it ruthlessly. Okay. You can also call creditors and negotiate. Many will settle for 60 to 80% of the balance in lump sum. You'll have to get it in writing, then pay and close that account. Okay. Don't keep any debt. Okay. We need to rebuild our credit, right? So what you need to do is open up a secured credit card, $200 to $500 limit. Use only 10% of the limit monthly and auto pay in full. Do this for 6 to 12 months and you'll watch your credit score recover pretty fast. Okay. Never, a credit card is not free money. I see so many people, they get a credit card or whatever, they go buy a bunch of stuff. They go on a shopping spree. You never do that. Never. All right. So phase 1, phase 2. Now we're into phase 3. We're talking about financial armor, our war chest, we call it. Money in the bank is your permission to stop panicking and start thinking. So now we need to build a real emergency fund. I'm talking $15,000 to $20,000. Right? So we need to take and save that money. Okay. 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a high yield savings account. Maybe Ally, SoFi, Marcus, anything with 4% plus interest. You never touch this unless it's life or death, or you're going to be homeless. That is the only way you touch this money. The other thing, and a lot of people don't like this because when they start seeing money coming in, especially they don't come from much, stay bare bones. You're still in Spartan mode. There's no lifestyle upgrades. There's no new truck. You only need transportation. There's no going on, buying all the new clothing, whatever. None of that. No new car, no flexing. Okay. You're not rich until you can survive a year jobless and calm. Okay. Phase 4, skill stack and income engineering. You don't need more hours. You need better value per hour. Okay. So we need to identify what monetizable skills you have. Sales, copywriting, welding, plumbing, truck driving, coding, graphic design. I don't know what you're good at. You have to figure that out. Go where the money is and where you can scale that money. Everybody has some type of skill set. There's something that you know other people want to know. Okay. And if you don't, you invest in a skill. Go become a plumber, whatever it is. Maybe you take an online course, get a license of some degree. Use $500 to $2,000 to level up. That's certification, courses, maybe a mentor, maybe someone who's already been through the trenches and he can tell you how to get out. You want to focus on return on investment, not letters behind your name. Learn online, in person, or on the job. Period. Then we want to move into launch a side hustle or small business. Start lean, no office, no staff, no debt. So many people I see, especially in this world, like I see so many guys, they want to be the boss of somebody. Man, I've been in charge of people my whole life, and trust me, it's not as glamorous as it sounds. People want to be the boss. I'm the CEO. They want that for some reason. They start hiring staff, and then they get lazy. They get lazy. You are everything. You're taking out the trash, you're sweeping the floors, you're doing everything. Okay. You are the workforce, owner operator, right? Build around what people already pay for. Scale only after validating the demand and client retention. I've seen so many people jump into a business. They get a few clients in a few months. They're like, oh man, I'm rich. Fast forward 6 to 8 months later, no clients, no client retention. They got lazy, right? The other thing is keep your job until cash flow is safe. So you're working 2 jobs still. So you're running a company and working a job. And you only quit once you're consistently making 2 times your 9-to-5 income from the hustle. Otherwise, you keep the job and reinvest every extra dime into your business, whether that's online, you're cutting grass on the weekends, whatever it may be. Okay. Start lean. You don't need all the new equipment. Man, I was using a freaking raggedy camera for years. You know, man, I was using a free website builder to sell my products forever. And you know who built my website? I did, even the one I have today. I spent weeks learning how to do it, how to write code and so on. I ain't go to school for that. I ain't paying for somebody to do that. So at this point in time, you're now out of survival. This time is where it gets strategic. This is where you have some money. This is where the Grant Cardones and Andrew Tates usually start at, not people in the trenches. Okay. You want to max out tax sheltered accounts. So if you're still working your main job, which I highly suggest you do, and they have a 401k, you start contributing at least to the employer match max. So however much they're wanting to match you, you go to that amount. Then you get a Roth IRA, $7,000 a year, grows tax-free. Maybe a SEP IRA if you're self-employed. Okay. Then you want to start looking at diversifying investments. Keep 60 or 70% in safe long-term market funds like S&P 500. And then you take 20% into business reinvestment. Okay. So that's when you get your new gadgets and so on. And at this point in time, when you have a business, you can write off a lot of things. And that is the key. That's how Donald Trump only pays $400 a year in taxes, because everything's a write-off. You're writing off your vehicle, your cell phones, you're writing off everything. It's legal. It's in the books. You need it for business, right? Then maybe you take 10 to 20% and put in a high risk, high reward. We're talking crypto, flips, or startups. Okay. A lot of people dumping money into various high risk things and lose everything, right? Now, at this point, we can start buying real estate, but strategically. Don't go buy your dream house, right? That's the beauty. I want to go spend all my money in a house. Now I'm house poor. Now we're going to buy wealth generating houses, duplex, rental house, right? Maybe a house with some property and you rent it. All right. Avoid being house poor. Okay. And this is one thing I learned in college, and this is from my professor. And I'm not saying you're going to learn it in any business, but my professor told me this, and I have lived by this. And then I had an old man tell me this similar thing in a different way. My professor said, keep overhead low forever. Keep overhead low forever. I also had an old man tell me one time, never let your lifestyle exceed that of what you can afford by swinging a hammer, working construction. Because at worst case scenario, I can still afford my lifestyle, right? You need to live like you make $50,000, even if you're making $500,000. And I think, people want to go buy boats. They want to go this, that. You don't do that. You don't do that, man. The thing is, the more cash you have, the more you can use it to build your business. I'm not saying you can't get a little something nice or this and that, but also when you look at your life, you can't take any of that stuff which in the casket. It's better to build experiences, better to provide for your family, your kids' future, and so on. Okay. The man who needs less is always freer than the man who earns more but spends it all. Trust me, when you walk around looking at a Lamborghini and that thing, man, I got to keep working hard to afford this thing. The maintenance on this thing. A lot of things people miss though is start a solo 401k if you're self-employed. Okay, up to $66,000 is tax deferred in that. A lot of people don't know that. Buy assets, not liabilities. Watch every dollar. Is it helping you earn, learn, or scale? Everything that you buy should have a return on investment. I'm spending this money to get future money. And you got to avoid lifestyle creep. Okay. Don't upgrade because you can upgrade. It has to be when it serves a goal. Insurance and legal protection. When you get money, you become a target. Okay. You need LLCs, umbrella insurance, estate planning, and to protect your assets. Now, the thing is this was a rush over. I'm thinking about making a little, not little, it'll be pretty time intensive, but a complete protocol, kind of like the gray man protocol. I'm thinking about making a protocol, and I'll make it just the cost of whatever it is for the website. But I can map it all out if you're interested in me doing that, because I don't want to work for nothing. If you're interested in me doing that, where I'll lay it out very detailed. Now, these are already actionable steps. You can already start doing what I'm doing, what I'm telling you, especially if you're starting for the bare bottom, man. Take $20 and put in a pot every week for the time being, if you need to. I did that in the very beginning stages, man. After getting out in Marines, man, my life went to crash and burn, man. Yeah. So I had to really, I was below the trench and I had to work my way out. The thing is that a lot of people over the years question why I work so much. Because I wish there were more hours in the day so I could work more, to be honest with you, but it's just not the case. And the thing is a lot of people just don't want to work that much. Most of the people watching this won't do it. You'll hear it, you'll agree with it, but you'll go back to Netflix and excuses. And 5 years from now, you'll still be broke. You'll still be blaming the world, being a victim, and still be asking, how do I get ahead? You don't get ahead. You bleed forward, or you stay behind. That's the game. I know a lot of people too, they're always looking for excuses, man. Their excuses, oh, I'm disabled, this and that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you truly may be disabled and you can't do anything. I get it. However, I lived beside a guy. He wasn't really disabled, but he played that card because he didn't want to work. He was lazy, overweight, those sort of things. And as far as entertainment, your only entertainment to this day, I don't go out. I don't go to movies. I rarely even go out to eat. When I have free time, I'm lifting weights or I'm reading books, period. And did it start out fun like that? Did I start out thinking that stuff was fun? Absolutely not. That was not my idea of a good time back in the day. Okay. So you have to reprogram your mind and say, if it's not helping me, it's weighing me down, and to cut everything else out of your life. Negative people, this and that, your circle should be like this anyway. If you got a bunch of friends, man, that's a bunch of time consumption, right? You can ask my friends, man, trying to get me on a telephone call is virtually impossible. You're better off texting me, and it's going to take a few days for me to get back to you. I'm a busy man. But the thing is, I can't have distractions. Head down, working. If there was more hours in a day, I would work more. And this is where I always go back to physical fitness, because that's actually what taught me is that through discipline, I can achieve results. Back in my dark days, whenever I was struggling to survive, I did have a gym membership. It was $20. And any free time I spent there. And once I started getting results, getting stronger, bigger, these sort of things, that's when I realized, I can do anything I want. That's when I started going to college. I went to college. I was doing anything I want. And does my degree matter? Absolutely not. But the knowledge I got from there did. Luckily, it was not an indoctrination encampment like A lot of them are now. But you got to look at everything and start moving forward. Hopefully this video, a lot of people are asking me about it, man. Hopefully it can help some people. But if you're interested in a very in-depth protocol, let me know and I'll start working on it. I don't mind working. So just let me know. Anyway, guys, I'll make it extremely reasonable. Don't worry about that. Because this information in this video is truly to help people, because I've been there, man. And if I could have someone that gave me the lifeline without taking years to figure it all out, I would have jumped at the opportunity. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. Make sure you stay frosty, you stay strapped, and you always stay dangerous. Take care.